Hello there, my name is James Harrington, and if Spanish football is for you, then this is the place to be. Today we'll be previewing matchday 34 in La Liga. So let's look at the La Liga table. Currently, Barcelona are in the driving seat, even though they sit in third, but with a game in hand, and if they win that match, they go top of the La Liga table. But it would only mean 4 points would separate first to fourth. Real Sociedad, Real Betis and Villarreal continue to occupy those Europa League spots. Celta move up to 9th after a 2-1 win via Osasuna. In the bottom half of the table, Alaves continue to pull away from the relegation zone with a draw versus Valencia, giving them a 2-point gap on 18th. Whereas sitting 20th in the table is Eibar. After defeat to Real Sociedad, they are seemingly cut adrift. And even though mathematically not relegated, it seems like they'll probably be in the Segunda Division next season. Well, let's look back on those matches I previewed in the last episode, starting with Real Madrid versus Real Betis. Now that was a 0-0 draw. It was one of those games where Real Madrid did have the better of the opportunities but couldn't really create any clear-cut chances. What would be alarming for Zinedine Zidane was that this was the second goalless draw in 3 league matches, not really helping their title hopes. A positive was that Hazard came back into the fold, featuring the final 15 minutes, and he looked sharp. Both defences played really well on the day, Militao standing out for Real Madrid and Ruiz standing out for Real Betis. But essentially it just boils down to Real Madrid weren't good enough to secure the 3 points. The other match that I previewed was Athletic Club versus Atletico Madrid, and it was another twist in the Liga title saga, with Athletic Club emerging victorious 2-1. Now what was interesting was the starting lineup that Diego Simeone went with. He decided to lead with Correa and Llorente and keep Felix and Suarez on the bench. Now that was justified considering the recent performances, and they did have a role later on coming on as subs. Berenguer gave Athletic Club the lead in the 8th minute after an Andacapa cross, and Atletico Madrid were pressing, and finally they got their goal in the 77th minute thanks to Savic. But suddenly in the 86th minute, with 4 minutes to go, Inigo Martinez powered home a brilliant header to give Marcelino's men the 3 points. It was a fantastic result for Athletic Club because it dusts off those cobwebs of disappointment that have been hanging over the club in recent weeks. As well, it was a fantastic display of the youngsters that Athletic Club have to offer. Sanset, Morcillo, Berenguer, Villalibre, all playing key roles in this match. This is another disappointing result for Diego Simeone and has meant that the La Liga title race is still so very open. Alright then, so what are my pick of the fixtures this weekend? And I tend to go with 2 or 3 matches that have real big ramifications for the La Liga title, and I try to avoid always going for exclusively Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, but simply you have to talk about the title race at the moment. But I'm going to start with Huesca versus Real Sociedad. So let's start with Huesca. Now they're coming into this match off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Getafe. Enes Unal getting both of the goals for Bordalas and his men. Pablo Insua after the game talked about how this was a bitter body blow, how they've got 5 more cup finals to play, and I couldn't agree more with him. I was really surprised that they were defeated by Getafe in what was a 6-pointer in reality. They've lost to Alaves, they've lost to Atletico Madrid, which I can't blame them. The team chasing the La Liga title is always going to be very difficult. And then to lose to Getafe, 2 teams in that run of 3 that in and around the points that Pacheta needed to pick up. And I was surprised that they lost to Getafe, considering that Pacheta was able to mastermind back-to-back wins against Elche and Levante. But when I was watching the Atletico Madrid game, when I was reflecting upon the Getafe match, the key question that came in my mind, and it's the remedy for kind of saving Huesca this season, is who is going to partner Rafa Mir up top. Rafa Mir has been brilliant for Huesca of late. Well, really all campaign. He has the strength, he has the pace, he has the finishing that will hopefully get them the goals to keep them safe. Remember, he got a brace against Levante, I think he got a hat-trick against Valladolid, but they need to share the workload up top. And that gives you 2 options. The 2 options being one, being Sandro, and the other one being Okazaki. Now, Okazaki started against Atletico Madrid and in reality did nothing. Wasn't really noticeable and was kind of marked out of the game. Sandro came on, it was quite lively. And then against Getafe, Sandro started, and again most of the attack went through Rafa Mir, who had 4 really good chances. However, who do I think out of the two of them should be the starter for Huesca? Sandro's got more goals with 4 goals and Okazaki's only got 1, but their XG is around 1.8. I think they're two very different styles of players. Sandro is much more lively, more dynamic, whereas for me, Okazaki is more of a battering ram up front and is someone who, even though isn't frightfully tall, is quite good for set pieces for disrupting defenders. So, considering the opposition, Real Sociedad, I feel set pieces will be key, and that's why for this match in particular, I think Okazaki has to start alongside Rafa Mir. Now I look at the remaining fixtures that Huesca have to face. They're 19th, 3 points from safety. They've got Cadiz, Athletic Club, Real Betis, Valencia, games where they can clearly pick up points, and it has to start here against Real Sociedad. However, unfortunately, Huesca at home have collected the second least amount of points in La Liga this season. Only Eibar have been worse. They've only picked up 15 points, but this is a real crucial game if Huesca have any chance of getting to safety. Now the opposition, Real Sociedad. They come into this match having beaten Eibar 1-0, all but mathematically relegating them, but giving a boost to their chance for qualifying for the Europa League, what will be back-to-back seasons of getting into that tournament. Now the guy who got the goal for Real Sociedad is a player I've waxed about lyrical before, Alex Isak, the Swedish striker, who is the number 1 at Real Sociedad and is only 21 years old, having usurped William Jose as the first choice striker. William Jose is now at Wolverhampton Wanderers, by the way. Now, I read a really interesting article by Breaking the Lines, and they do some really insightful player analysis. So I'm just going to go through some of the key findings and conclusions made by them, and it kind of illuminates the attributes that Alex Isak brings to the Real Sociedad attack. Now, Isak got his 14th goal of the campaign, and all of his goals have not been penalties. That's 5 more than his total last season, having played 8 games less, but I do recognise that more of them have been starts. What is a real big asset of Alex Isak is his intelligence, his movement in between defenders, and his ability to surprise a defender by running in behind and creating a goal-scoring opportunity. His pace is a real big strength of his as well. For being 6'2", he doesn't just act as a target man, he tends to drop deeper and become involved in the build-up play, dragging defenders to follow him, and as well he's able to initiate counter-attacks by releasing players such as Porto. Isak is just 1 goal away from matching his predecessor William Jose's best goal-scoring campaign in La Liga with 15 goals in 2012-2013. As I said, do go check out Breaking the Lines, their website. They do really interesting player analysis. They've also got one on Renato Tapia, which is a good read. So that's why I think Alex Isak will be critical in this match against Huesca. In other news, for Real Sociedad, in the match against Eibar, we saw the return of Zaldua. Now, Zaldua's campaign has been ravaged by injury, and the right back is a real asset for Imanol to have at his disposal, and hopefully will give some rest to Gorosabel, who's been deputising for most of the campaign. So before I go into my prediction, I should just say how crucial Real Sociedad's role is in the relegation run-in. They play Huesca now, they also play Elche, and their penultimate game of the season is against Real Valladolid, so they really are an influencing factor. Now, what do I think my prediction is going to be against Huesca? Unfortunately for Huesca fans, I think Real Sociedad will win 2-1, giving their 3rd straight La Liga victory. Now, a big game this weekend that has implications on the La Liga title race is Valencia versus Barcelona. Now, let's start with Valencia. Los Che are coming into this match off the back of a 1-1 draw against Alaves, a game that marked first of 3 home games for the side at Mestalla. Valencia have been really good at Mestalla this season, haven't they? Well, especially in recent weeks. They've been 8 games unbeaten, with the last time they were defeated at the Mestalla, I believe, was match day 15 against Sevilla. It was a 1-0 victory for the Andalusian side. Now, reflecting back on the game against Alaves, the game really didn't come alive until John Guidetti got the goal in the 84th minute. And what was surprising about the striker from Alaves, the Swedish striker, was that was his first La Liga goal since April 2019, so one he's been waiting for a while. Valencia, though, then did get the equaliser in the 89th minute thanks to their captain, Gaia. And to be honest, I think the points shared is a fair result. Both sides had spells of dominance, had opportunities, but no one did enough deserving of the victory. What was really good to see, actually, from a Valencia perspective, was the return of Maxi Gomez, a player who is a real imposing presence in the box and someone who can ruffle defensive feathers. After the game, Javi Gracia came out and said how his side showed unity or character to come back from 1-0 down. But it was a tough result to take, and you have to agree with him. Look, it's no secret that Javi Gracia is clearly on his way out of the club. The board want to move in a new direction this summer, and even though his contract runs to June 2022, it seems like his time is up. At the end of the day, he's done a respectable job given the circumstances that he was appointed, where the club was in financial turmoil and a boardroom tensions, fans were unhappy, and a number of the key stars were sold. Now, who's going to come in replacing Javi Gracia? That's a really interesting question. And who do Valencia fans want? It was rumoured at one point Jose Mourinho was touted for the job in the immediate aftermath of getting sacked from Tottenham. I think that's incredibly unlikely. You've then got Roberto Moreno, the ex-Spain coach and Monaco manager, who I think, whilst he does have respectable credentials, doesn't have enough experience to get Valencia to the place that they want to be. But then I think the favourite, well, my favourite, and I assume is probably the first choice for most Los Che fans, is Rafa Benitez. Now, Rafa Benitez had a very successful time at the Mestalla. He won the La Liga title, the UEFA Cup, has won numerous trophies with other big clubs, and as well, I think a key thing here, given the relationship with the boardroom at the moment, has experience of working in tight parameters, such as that when he managed Newcastle United. Now, I'm slightly jumping ahead and kind of not focusing on the recent match, and something I want to pick up on as well against Alaves was the performance of Gonzalo Guedes. Now, Guedes for me is a player who has an abundant amount of talent. The Portuguese midfielder can be a real threat and handful. However, at times I find his play slightly erratic and his end product is just not to the level it needs to be. However, I feel that's slightly improved in recent weeks. He got a goal against Betis and he put in a really good performance against Alaves when he's given a bit more freedom to play. For Valencia, to be honest, as I said, it has been a disappointing campaign, and you've seen the likes of Gaia, Guillamon, Soler all recognising that. And it should be said that the objective is clear in the sense that just get as many victories as possible and accrue as many points as possible so that you can have a more respectable position ending this campaign. Hit the restart button in the summer and you go again. So let's talk about the opposition, Barcelona. Now they come into this match having beaten Villarreal 2-1. It was a comeback victory. Samuel Chukwueze gave the host the lead, going around Andre ter Stegen, but only 1 or 2 minutes later, Antoine Griezmann put a sumptuous chip past Serge Asenjo. He then got the winner in the 35th minute. There were opportunities after that, but Barcelona did enough to hold on to all 3 points. Antoine Griezmann was the star of the show in this match. A man who's grown in confidence and become an even more pivotal cog in the Barcelona machine as the season's gone on. Last year, his La Liga campaign, he got 9 goals, 4 assists. This season, it's still not over, he's got 11 goals, 6 assists. So the Frenchman is in really good form. What I've been impressed about Barcelona, and something that when I always talk about Barcelona, especially in recent weeks, is how Ronald Koeman has turned around their season. Since December, they've only lost 1 match, and that was El Clasico. But since then, they've dusted themselves off and built some momentum, beating Getafe 5-2 and Villarreal 2-1. The big thing about Koeman and what he's been praised for is his tactical nous. They go from sometimes a 3-5-2, which enables them to be much harder to score against, having the 3 centre-halves, but as well sometimes playing Frankie de Jong as a sweeper, to then using the fullbacks of Dest and Alba to press high, to pin the opposition and recover the ball. And this was deployed really effectively against Sevilla, to then sometimes switch into a 4-3-3, which is something that is more traditional and accustomed with Barcelona, much more fluid, quite attacking, all about the triangles. And what they are able to do is switch the formation depending on the opposition and depending how the game's being played out. Now, as I say, Barcelona really are in good form. In 2021, from a possible 51 points, they've picked up 46. This is a side, at one point in the season, in the autumn, Ronald Koeman, even by his own admission, has said his side are out of the Liga title race. A side that we all felt maybe would even qualify for the Champions League, but they've totally done a 180 and turned it around and closed the gap for, at one point, was 12 points on Atletico Madrid. So if they win their midweek game against Granada, they go top. So what does this mean for my prediction this weekend? Now, this recording was done before that Granada match, but considering the momentum at the moment, the fact that they've got winners in their dressing room, the fact that they seem more united than ever, I think Barcelona are going to beat Valencia 3-0. I think they're going to bring an end to Los Che's unbeaten streak at home. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.